Hey, fifth graders. This is Miss Richardson. I work for the Hall County Virtual Program of Choice. And one of my jobs is to have this class for very smart fifth graders who have been recommended to take this course. And you will be finished with all of the sixth grade math standards by the end of the year. So, congratulations. If you are watching this video now, you are one of the few students across the county who is taking part in this. And I know your parents are proud, your teachers are proud, and I am proud of you guys. This is the third year we've taught this course to fifth graders, and our students have done so well. We've tracked their progress through during their sixth and seventh grade school years, and they are still just rocking it out, guys. They're doing a great job. So let me just say that we have had a few kids over the last couple of years that decided this course was not for them. They needed to have a teacher in person in the building with them. And so they went back to their regular fifth grade class, and that is totally fine. If you decide anytime during the year not to continue with this class, just let me and your fifth grade teacher know, and you would still have an opportunity next year to go into an honors sixth grade math class. All right, so just keep that in mind, and it's totally fine if you make that decision. So today we're going to start slow and easy. So this is your very first day taking this, looking at this course with me and watching my first video and trying some practice problems. So I went ahead and went through the fifth grade standards. I pulled out a few that I thought would be very important to make sure we went over these first couple of weeks. And then in about 3 weeks, we'll be starting in the sixth grade standards. All right, so let me share my screen with you guys. And let's just review what I have here. All right. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, so you've probably seen a chart like this before, but basically this tells you all of the place values when you're reading a number, okay? So anytime you're saying numbers out loud, if you see a decimal, you're going to say the word and. All right, so of course, to the left of the decimal, that first number's in the ones place, then the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. And then to the right of the decimal, these are very similar in order. There's no ones here to the right, but all the other places are the same. The only difference is that each of these words to the right of the decimal end in THS. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, and millions. And it's important that you guys memorize this chart. You probably have on the left side, you probably have already memorized those place values. And some of you probably have a few on the right side memorized as well. That this chart is very important in order to read numbers correctly. All right, so how would we say this number? So you start with these first two numbers, and every time there's a comma right before the comma, that number in that place to the left of a comma, if there are 5 digits, is in the thousands place, right? So you would say 56,704. 56,704. So then when we add a decimal, we're going to say this number, so that 5 is in the thousands place again, 5,670 and 4 tenths. So when you're using decimals, whatever that last digit is in, that place that the last digit is in, that's the last thing that comes out of your mouth. Since the 4 is in the tenths place, that's the very last thing I say. So once again, 5,670 and 4 tenths. Now, a lot of times when adults read numbers like the first one, they'll say 56, they might say incorrectly 56,704. So did you hear the and I put in there? You're not supposed to say an and until you see a decimal. Just keep that in mind. All right, we moved our decimal one place to the left, which in math, that means we divided by 10. So how do we read this number? First of all, find that 4. It's in the hundredths place. So keep in mind that will be the last word out of our mouth. 567 and 4 hundredths. And 4 hundredths. The next number, 56 and. So let's look at just this number. Just like if it were written on the left side of the decimal, we would say this number 704, right? 704. We're going to say the same thing, 704, but the last thing out of our mouth must be the place value that the 4 is in, which is in the thousandths. Now, that should be an S right there. That's a misprint. So we're going to say this number, 56 and 704 thousandths. 704 thousandths. We divided by 10 again. In other words, we moved our decimal to the left. Now we're going to say 5 and. So let's look at this section. If this were written to the left of the decimal, we would say this number, 6,704. We're going to say exactly the same, 6,704, except the last thing out of our mouth must be the place value of the last digit. So we say this number, 5 and 6,704 10,000ths. And then finally, we divided by 10 one more time, moved our decimal. Now that 4 is in the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry, I counted wrong, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me count correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the last thing out of our mouth must be 700. I'm sorry, 100 thousandths. That should be the last thing out of our mouth, right? So if this whole number, ignore that decimal for a minute. If it was the decimal was sitting at the end, we would say this number like we started, 56,704, right? We say these the same way, except we add 100 thousandths at the end. So 56,704 100 thousandths. 100 thousandths. Once again, there should be an S right there on both of those. All right, does that make sense? Okay, we're going to move forward. So the question is, what is the value of each 5 in this number, 5,555? Well, the first 5 is actually represents 5,000, right? I wish I had that much money in my hands, $5,000. All right, what does this 5 represent? It represents 500. What does this 5 represent? That's like having a $50 bill in your hand, 50. And what does this 5 represent? It represents 5 ones, okay? So you need to be able to pick out a number, a specific digit in a number, and tell what it literally represents. So this 5 literally represents 5,000s. This one represents 5 ones, okay? All right, so if you look at this number, each 5 is 10 times the value of the 5 to its right. So this 5 is 10 times, the value of this 5 is 10 times the value of this 5. This is 5,000, this is 500, right? This 500ths, is 10 times greater than this 5 to its right. 500 is 10 times greater than 50. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Each of these digits is 10, well, if they're the same digit, well, always, it's going to be 10 times greater than the number to its right, 10 times greater. So what does that mean if we're talking about the number to their left? Well, each 5 is 1/10 of the value of the 5 to its left. So this 5 is 1/10 the value of this 5. The number 5 is 1/10 the value of 50. The value 500 is 1/10 the value of this 5,000ths. 500 is 1/10 the value of 5,000. So if you have a visual of that, here we have 55.55, 55 and 55 hundredths. So if we're comparing numbers going to our right to get from, so if we're comparing going to the right, this digit here is 10 times greater than this digit. So how do I get from 50 to 5? I would divide by 10. How do I get from 50 to 5? I would divide by 10. How do I get from 5/10 to 5/100? I would have to divide by 10. And the same is true going the opposite direction. If I had 5 ones and I needed it to become a 50, what would I do with 5 ones to make it 50? I'd multiply by 10. Okay, so this is just a visual of this slide, what I'm talking about right here. All right, so now we're going to practice. So hopefully you guys are in a little area by yourself and you can actually speak out loud. Okay, so the best kind of practice is just saying things out loud, writing them down. So the first thing we're going to do is I want you guys to identify the value of each 4 in each number. Okay, so you can pause my video. You can write it down or you can just say it out loud to yourself, and then I'm going to tell you the answer. All right, did you guys identify the 4 in each of these numbers? All right, so the first one, this 4 represents 400. This is the value of this 4 is 400. What about this 4? What is the value of this? It's 4 hundredths. 4 hundredths. Number 3, what is the value of this 4? It is 10 thousandths, 4 10 thousandths. Number 4, what is the value of this 4? The answer is 4 tenths, 4 tenths. Number 5, hopefully you guys are getting these right. You're saying them to yourself out loud. What is the value of this 4? The value of this 4 is 4 ones, 4 ones. Number 6, what is the value of this 4? 4 tens. Number 7, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So did you guys say 400 thousandths? 400 thousandths. Number 8, what is the value of this 4? 4 millions. Definitely wish that was my bank account. 4 millions. Number 9, what about this 4 right here? Tenths, hundredths, 4 thousandths, 4 thousandths. And then number 10, the value of this 4 is 4 tens, 40, right? 4 tens. All right, how'd you guys do? I hope you did well. All right, the very last slide for today is I want you guys to practice saying these numbers correctly. Okay, so I want you to pause the video. I want you to say these numbers out loud. And remember, only say the word "and" when you see that decimal. Okay? All right, how'd you guys do? Let's check it out. Number 1, we say this number, 27,415 and 6/10. Remember these words, that's the last thing out of your mouth are these place values. 27,415 and 6/10. What about number 2? We would say this number, 45 thousandths. 45 thousandths. Number 3, number 2, you didn't need to say a word "and" because there's no digit in front of the decimal except for a 0. Number 3, how do you say this number? 42,368. 42,368. Number 4, how would we say that number? 53 and 462 thousandths. 53 and 462 thousandths. Number 5, 64 and 6 hundredths. 64 and 6 hundredths. Number 6, 23,046 and 1 hundredths. 23,046 and 1 hundredths. Number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only thing we have to say on this one is 100 thousandths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I almost messed up, you guys. 400 thousandths. 400 thousandths. How do we say number 8? 4,236,022. 4,236,022. Number 9, 23 and 5,642 10,000ths. 23 and 5,642 10,000ths. And the last one, how would we say that number? 5,342 and 200ths. 5,342 and 200ths. All right, you guys, so that's your video for Monday. That wasn't too difficult or hard or long, I hope. And now you have an assignment to do for Monday. So check your Canvas page and get that done. And then that's all I have for you guys today. So I know everyone did a great job out there. And let me know anytime you have any questions. My office hours are on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. I wrote it down. Hold on. From 8:15 to 8:45. So anytime you guys have any questions, you just want to check in with me, I will be live on Tuesday and Thursday mornings starting at 8:15. You can just jump on there using the Zoom link on the Canvas page. Okay? All right, you guys have a good day and send me any messages if you have any questions on Canvas inbox, and I'll check in with you guys later.